What's up, everybody? Mike Anderson here, 603 tuning in. Special episode for you guys. Got my good friend and my neighbor, my immediate neighbor, Billy Burr, the one and only. Shout out Claremont, New Hampshire, man.
Yeah.
And we're here. We're in the woods, really out here, and we're just gonna have a good time. Hope you enjoy it. So, Billy, tell the people about yourself, who you are, when you were born, where you're from, what was your childhood like?
So I was born in Claremont, New Hampshire.
Yep.
In 72. I'm 53 years old. And my childhood was, growing up, it was really not that bad that I really thought of, other than like having a kind of a militant stepfather. I mean, not really militant, but don't do shit half-assed type of thing.
Right, very disciplined, type.
Yeah,
Yep.
and I had a very jealous stepbrother who was jealous of the relationship that I had with my mother, because his mother wasn't around.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, and it really, it caused a lot of problems growing up, but nothing that wasn't more than I thought wasn't anything normal.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have problems with, when I was 18, I learned that you're 18, you're going to have problems with your parents. That's like,
exactly.
And a lot of it was because of the people I hung out with. I played sports in high school.
Yep.
And I hung out with the people that fucking, whoops, I swore.
It's all right.
With the people that were smoking pot and doing other shit and drinking and shit like that. And I tried to balance both worlds. I wanted to go play basketball, but I also wanted to go smoke a joint after practice.
Of course, you want to be the all-star player and still the best.
Exactly. It was almost like it was it gave me recognition,
right.
You know what I mean? And at first I didn't want the recognition. Like, shut up, don't say nothing to anybody.
Exactly, yeah.
But then people would be like, hey, Billy Burnout, and I'd be like, dude, shut up. But then after a while, like my senior year and stuff like that, I was like, hey, it's no problem, it don't bother me.
You started gaining that little bit of respect.
Yeah, but then you get a little bit older and things happen and stuff like that, and you just don't want that recognition anymore. Like you want to be like, when it's going on and you're getting older and you shouldn't be doing it, but you are.
Right.
It kind of turns into people, when somebody mentions you got a problem, it's kind of like, get the hell out of here. You don't know what you're talking
exactly.
about. And I don't have a problem. What the hell? I mean, and back in the early 90s and stuff like that, like the addiction thing and going for treatment or whatever, that was like a taboo word.
Yeah, you weren't doing that.
Of course not.
No.
Nobody ever said it out loud.
Of course not. Of course.
And nowadays, you don't see anything that's on TV or whatever that somebody isn't talking about.
Every other day.
Yep. Opiate addiction, or somebody called me out of the blue for a phone call for one of those lawyer calls and said, hey, were you in an accident in the last 2 years and we can get you a bunch of money?
Right.
And I said, no, but I said, I'll tell you what, if you ever come around with the medication opiate thing again, I can help you with that. I said, I was interviewed a while ago. I said, back in 2019, I said, but they wanted dates of doctors and lawyers and their doctors and prescriptions, and it was just too much, and I just didn't even go into it. But the lady started talking to me like she knew of somebody that she's like, I know what you've been through, I know what you've gone through, and maybe if it comes around again, we can bring it up, we could help you. And I was like, back then it was just too much, trying to remember dates, and it was a lot.
And nowadays it seems to come to fruition to where everybody always offers to help when you've already crashed out.
Yeah.
Right. And even though the signs were there beforehand, and like you said, I'm only 30, you're older man than I am. So you're talking times where I was just a child, that there was actually things that could have been done to stop what's going on right now.
Nobody ever said anything to me about asking for any help unless something bad had happened.
Right.
He never said, hey, we recognize this, something's going on, we need to get you some help.
Right.
No, not that I would have taken it, but it was never offered.
Exactly. That's just a fact.
Until I was in trouble, or until I was in jail, or until
Yeah.
And then they say, hey, you know, and then you're like, yeah, well, get me out of here quicker.
But we can help, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we all live. If we live this life that we were surrounded by, and it does include a lot of addiction around here in New England, especially. You know, with New Hampshire, all you have to do is look it up. I mean, we've been getting smacked with this fucking addiction.
It's just as common nowadays, I think, to see somebody overdose or get Narcan or see an ambulance crew somewhere because somebody overdoses, it is to see somebody have a heart attack.
Right, and then
it's everywhere.
That's fucked up, man. And it is everywhere. And it's like so common to where people are used to it. You know, used to seeing somebody maybe being down and out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hopefully you haven't seen that. If you have, I'm sorry. But, you know, when it gets to a point to where you have a young person used to it, like, I'll just hit them with Narcan and be all right. That's fucked up. That makes it a war zone. You know
I wouldn't want at all for any of the things that I had to go through for like my daughter to go through at all. I wouldn't want that for her at all.
Yep.
But you know, I think about her turning around or somebody turning around, a child or whatever, turning around and saying, yeah, but you did it. And then what would I say? It'd be like, yeah, I did, but you know, it wasn't fun. It was in the beginning, but
right, and we can only try to say, like, we're trying to tell you to learn from our experiences, but, you know, as a kid, we're like, yeah, we know.
I would have turned around and if my parents had ever said to me, you know, hey, stop smoking weed, hey, you did it. You know,
right, exactly.
Hey, you want me to do shots with you? What are you talking about? Don't drink.
Right, we're drinking, we're smoking weed, yep. And that's how it turns into one thing to the next.
And my father, or my stepfather, lived by the mantra of that, like, if you were old enough to die for your country, that you're old enough to have a drink in my house. So.
Which is understandable, and that's just America. We're New England. We're both raised in New Hampshire, so yeah, that was kind of. If you're old enough to shoot
it out of the house.
But he was going to supervise you. If you wanted to have a beer, that was fine.
Yep.
I was the same way. Unfortunately, people know my story. Like I took off a little bit, and I went off the deep end, but I survived. And I'm here with a man that's been through a lot more. And it was actually through the same system that I went through. So his words are highly respected, and I hope everybody can resonate.
So many opportunities that I've had that could have gone different ways, you know. And I think it's weird. Like, I see things on TV about, you know, or on the news or whatever, about people overdosing or whatever, and it almost becomes like commonplace now.
Yeah.
And for some reason, when I hear something like about suicide, you know, it's all like the generation is always, it's all about depression and anxiety, and, you know, and not talking about it, and then it gets and it either leads to addiction or suicide. And, like, that suicide stuff is horrible. Like, I couldn't imagine, you know, going through something like that with a family member.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't imagine it.
No, suicide is definitely horrible. But building it up, like, I think you made a good point there. A lot of us let it out and maybe, like, you know, pump it out through addiction, and then we become addicted, which makes our lives worse. But in that meantime, we're forgetting about it. Mm-hmm. And then there's those people that just have no help at all with this trauma.
Yep.
And unfortunately end up taking their own life.
And that's where a lot of it starts, even if it's by accident.
Right, you know? Right. Because it all builds up, and you don't realize it until it's like, fuck it, you know.
Right. And I think that a lot of the thing is like, I will have like, I'll be hearing something on the radio or something like that of a teenager or whatever that committed suicide, and it's like, oh my God, you know, a kid should not have to deal with that much pain.
So young.
You know, so young, but they felt it that much pain that they had to do that.
Yep.
And when I didn't, it didn't really even start with me as like having anything that I thought with pain. It was more of like wanting to, didn't feel like I didn't deserve certain things. I felt like I didn't deserve having the girlfriend that I had, or the family that I had, or the good things. So I don't know. I didn't know why I felt that way, that I didn't deserve it. But when I took pills or whatever,
Yep.
which were mainly opiates. You know, it was never really the benzos or never the, you know, the stuff that I couldn't with Klonopin, stuff like that. It was more of I wanted to be able to control it and feel in control,
Right.
and still have, but I wanted to feel, you know, mask what I was feeling as far as that went, and still have. I wanted the best of both worlds, and
Yes.
it just overtook everything. And
That's so true. I can relate to that because the opiates, especially the benzos, I was never a fan of.
well,
Just like you said,
Klonopin, you lose.
I
If
wasn't-
you lose a couple of days on that, I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I want to know I'm in control.
Man, what happened, right?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But when you can be high and then still, but also not feel that, just fucking, I don't deserve this feeling.
Mhm.
When you're on that shit, you're like, yeah, and you really just almost embrace it.
Mhm.
So it makes it a super drug. For us, it was like a super drug.
Yeah. And of course, everybody, they all spun it like there's nothing wrong with it.
They
Yeah.
were getting prescribed, this is legal.
So easy on the week. Like
So easy.
I could call up the doctor's office that I wasn't even a member of the practice on a weekend
Yep.
and tell them that I had a prescription with a doctor that because of my back that I had a herniated disc, and I would get that practice to call me in,
That's
Vicodins, whatever.
Exactly, right there. Just
Over the phone.
what pharmacy do you use?
Yeah.
Exactly, there it is.
Yep. Not even be a member of that practice. It was so easy.
My father did the same thing, but that's like you said, it turns into eventually when they stop doing that, which they did.
Like 20 isn't enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where it came for me. Is that
It is not good enough.
20 didn't look enough for me. I thought 30 would be, and I changed the number.
Yep.
And that's what got me in the system.
Yep.
That's what
Ain't but no sense, right?
originally got me. Mhm.
The
Well,
story of a lot of us.
How about 9 months?
Oh yeah.
Oh, out of 22 years, man. Since 2002. April of 2002. Yep.
For the listeners, from 2002, April of 2002, now we're coming to September 2025. This
That's
is
either-
what the system has done. He's been either locked up
Yeah.
or on paper and under control,
Under supervision.
supervision. Has his health gotten any better? Have these drugs actually helped us?
Mhm.
No. Mentally, we've gone through roller coasters. Here we are today, sharing that story for the younger generation.
Just, I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through what I did to get to this point.
To get here, and then now all this time. So now you're at your age and you still have a mountain to climb, right? That must feel.
Well, I mean, the mountain's a little shorter now.
Do you have, what's your goals?
Huh?
Do you have goals?
Well, yeah. I mean, I want to get out. I want to get off parole.
Right, that's a
That's
good
the main
one.
one.
That's a
And
good
I mean, it's
one,
coming
yeah.
down to a couple of years. And of course, I would love to get a relationship back with my daughter, but that's mainly up to her. You know,
Understandable, yo.
I can only do so much when it comes to that.
Yep.
I just have to accept the fact that if she doesn't want the relationship, then
She's a grown woman now.
yeah. And the fact that, you know, do I like it that way? Absolutely not.
Right.
Am I happy and lucky that she has somebody that she considers a supportive father and treated her good growing up? Absolutely. I mean,
That's a respect there, you know.
it wasn't a lot.
To be humble
Yeah,
about
it wasn't believe me, it wasn't easy to accept.
Understand. I believe,
was
I
not
do
easy.
Understand.
I can prove that 100%. It was not easy.
No, it's not easy.
And I tried to make it miserable for the longest time. But
Some of us do. A lot of us do.
yeah,
We feel threatened. You threaten our
Yeah.
dignity.
that's exactly how I
And
felt.
yeah, so, you know.
Like there's somebody spending more time with my kid than I was.
Yeah, slighted.
Yeah.
Slighted isn't even the word for it, right? But to be able to overcome that along with everything shows a lot of strength.
Yep.
And that's what this is about, is just letting the youngins know. I got contact.
I was gonna say there you go.
Yeah,
I
she
thought
got
so.
me busted.
Was she? Oh yeah, you're talking
Yeah,
to
she
me.
got me busted.
Yeah, she slowed down too.
For the ones that know,
His
that's
girlfriend's
the
here
old
and we're in
lady.
trouble.
Yeah.
Or at least he
I'm
is.
deep shit.
He is. I can go in my room, close the door.
I'm not bad. I got the rum ready. I got the
Yeah.
apple candle going for her.
Yeah.
Bad
Apple
maid.
candle.
Yeah. Bad apple maid.
This is gonna cost you a dinner, Leah. I don't know.
Yeah, we got leftovers. But
I'm hungry over there.
You,
I'm kidding.
want to send a quick message before?
I mean, we got more a lot more.
A lot more. This is gonna be part one.
This is just kind of
This
like
is
the
part
overview.
Like this is part one.
Yeah, just. I mean, it's hard to be able. You never know what anybody is actually dealing with, or why they're doing what they're doing. You know, whether it's when I was doing it, it was a cycle of I wanted it because I wanted the family, and I did, but I didn't feel adequate enough that I deserved it. So I did the pills to take away that feeling, but wanted the family at the same time.
Right.
Then when the family was gone, I did it because I was hurting because I lost a family. So it gave me a reason to continue it, and it's a big cycle.
Right, yeah, reason.
It's a huge cycle, and if you look at it, it just goes around. The stuff you lose because of it gives you a reason to do more of it.
Right, because it's justification.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because this happened, so it's like, fuck it.
And now I'm addicted to these
it.
worms, but this is a little safer.
All right, 603 tuning in. This is part one. Mike Anderson, Billy the Man Burr, coming in from the deep. Sorry, my remote's not working.